At the beginning of the drama, we see the female lead, whose name is Ji-yoom. Ji-yoom is explaining here, I can remember my past lives. I remember everything I have ever done, in all the lives I have lived in the past. And when did all this start? When I was 9 years old. At the age of 9, I suddenly started remembering everything. But the one thing I was most excited to know about was, is Seoha still alive? Along with this, little Ji-yoom's family is also shown here. Ji-yoom is doing a stage performance. She is showing different dances, speaking different languages. People are astonished to see it all. How does she know all this? Because all these things are connected to her previous births. Here, whatever money is received from the performance, her dad takes it all, and Ji-yoom doesn't get any money. Her brother Dongwoo is also just like his dad. He is also snatching her money. Later, a woman is shown, whose name is Aegyong. Da-yoom meets that lady. She gives Aegyong a letter and says, "This letter is from your uncle, whose name is Jung-ho. He sent it." Aegyong is surprised after reading that letter. The letter says, "This girl is very poor. Give her some money." Aegyong asks Ji-yoom, "Where did you get this letter? My uncle died many years ago." Ji-yoom looks at some old pictures and says, "This is your uncle, isn't it?" Aegyong says in surprise, "How do you know?" Later, a flashback scene comes where Jung-ho is working in a circus, but he gets some disease. He has a lung problem, and he is about to die. But a girl says, "You can't leave me like this. You have to promise me that you will come back in the next life and protect me." Both make a promise to each other. In the present, Ji-yoom says, "I have been reborn. It might take you time to believe, but before that, feed me, and give me some money too." Aegyong asks, "What are you going to do?" Ji-yoom says, "I am going to make a portrait in your uncle's name." Just then a boy comes, and he collides with Ji-yoom's portrait. This boy's name is Seoha. In the next scene, we see that Ji-yoom has gone somewhere with her mother. She is talking about her daughter. "My daughter has become very sensible. She teaches me good things. But I don't understand, how did all this happen so suddenly?" Hyun is wandering around inside the house. Just then a child is seen, who is Seoha. And when seen, Seoha is under the water. He is sitting in the water, and Hyun is watching him from above. Later, Seoha comes above the water. Hyun asks him, "Was there something down there?" Seoha comes to her and pushes her into the water. Then he gets out himself. In the next scene, we see Seoha is trying to take down a book, but because he is small, he can't get the book down. Then Hyun comes to him and helps, but Seoha pushes her away. Seoha says, "I don't need your help." This morning, Hyun was also calling him a child. Here, Seoha says, "Don't call me a child." But Hyun still takes the book down for him, and the book falls on his head. Seoha says in anger, "You did that on purpose, didn't you?" Hyun says, "This is the best way to teach everything to rich kids like you." Seoha says, "Do you know what will happen if I scream here?" Hyun goes near him and says, "Scream, I want to see what happens." Then she makes his coin disappear with her hand and says, "I will make you disappear just like this." Seoha asks in astonishment, "How did you do that?" Hyun says, "I have a secret." Seoha asks, "What is the secret? Tell me." Hyun asks, "Okay, do you believe in past lives? This is not the first journey of my life. I can remember my past lives." Seoha says, "I think you are lying." Hyun says, "I am telling the truth." Now here Hyun and Seoha become good friends. In the next scene, it is shown that Hyun and her younger sister have both come to Seoha's house and are playing together. Later, a bedroom is shown, where Song-yi is, Seoha's mother, and her son, Seoha, is also there. Song-yi is suffering from some disease, and she is about to die. She tells Hyun, "You take care of my son." She says, "Okay." Seoha is sitting alone near the bridge. Later, Hyun goes to him. He is upset because his mother has passed away. Seoha says, "I can remember my past life. I am telling the truth. My mother used to say, I swim in the water like a turtle." Hyun laughs at this. Later, Ji-yoom travels once again and goes near an old house. Upon reaching there, she remembers a flashback where Hyun and Seoha are both going in a car. It is Seoha's birthday. Hyun has given Seoha a gift, but it has a lock on it. Seoha says, "Where is the key?" Hyun replies, "I have hidden it. I want to see whether you are a good boy or not." Then she tells him, "The key is at my favorite place." A very nice fragrance comes from that place. Seoha asks, "Is that place your room?" Ji-yoom replies, "No, it's not my room." But just then a truck comes, which hits their car. An accident happens. Ji-yoom is explaining here, "I was praying that this would be my last life. I will not see Seoha again." But after the accident, Seoha loses his hearing power. In the present, it is shown that Ji-yoom tries to go inside a big building. She rings the bell, but there is no response. Then she secretly goes inside. She climbs a tree to look and sees that Seoha is sitting near his window. A hope awakens inside Jaeyoung. Seoha is still alive. Later, the story moves forward, and we reach 2020. Now, Ji-yoom works in a company, and a girl becomes her good friend. She searches and finds out where Seoha works. Later, Ji-yoom meets a man from the academy. Ji-yoon thinks, if I stay in Korea, I can never go to Seoha. I will have to apply directly to the dream group in Germany. She asks a man, can I apply? The man says, you can apply, but I don't think you will be able to work there. You don't have that ability. Ji-yoon says, still, I will apply. In the next scene, Ji-yoon is giving a test for that place. Just then the president of D-Bang Group comes and says, you should come to our group. Our D-Bang Group is much better than me group. Ji-yoon says, that's a good point, but you don't have the man there that I want to meet. Saying this, Ji-yoon leaves. Just then, that man gets a call. It is told that Seoha has gone to a hotel. Ji-yoon overhears all this. In the next scene, Ji-yoon reaches the hotel. There, she sees some turtles in the water. Seoha comes near the bridge and remembers his old memories with his mother. His mother used to tell him, you are swimming like a turtle. Seoha is looking towards the water. Ji-yoon comes to him and says, there is something under the water. She says the same thing she had said in childhood when he was sitting under the water. The next scene shows an office of the Me group where there is an opening. There is his secretary, whose name is Do-yoon, who is also Seoha's friend. Seoha asks him, who all have applied to the strategic planning team? Do-yoon shows him the list. Seoha sees Ji-yoon's name there. He looks at her qualifications and finds out that she can speak multiple languages. Later, Ji-yoon remembers that since their accident, Seoha has hidden his hearing power. Then Ji-yoon goes near him and calls him by his name. Then Seoha is able to hear because he puts a device in his ear with which he can hear. Then they both sit and talk. Seoha asks Ji-yoon, where did you learn all these languages? Ji-yoon says, I have been learning for a long time. Later, Seoha asks Ji-yoon, why did you apply to Me Group? Ji-yoon says, I wanted to help you so that the hotel can get its old glory back. Maybe you want the same thing. Seoha asks, what do you mean by old glory? Ji-yoon says, this is about the year 1997. Seoha says in surprise, you weren't even born then. Ji-yoon says, a distant relative showed me some pictures. Seoha says, I don't think you can do the work you have come here to do. Ji-yoon says, if you are still not sure, then why don't you date me? Seoha thinks, maybe I heard something wrong. Ji-yoon says, no, you didn't hear anything wrong. Would you like to date me? Seoha says, I am a stranger. You don't even know me. How can you date me? In the next scene, we see that Seoha is walking alone on the road, and at that moment, something starts happening in his ear. A car is also approaching Seoha at the same time. Seeing this, Ji-yoon remembers a flashback when their accident happened, when the truck was coming towards them. Then, we are shown that Ji-yoon comes to Seoha. She sees that Seoha is having a panic attack. Later, while talking, Ji-yoon makes him run away from there. Further on, they both stop. Then Ji-yoon brings water for Seoha. Now both are drinking water. Ji-yoon says, I saw you were in a panic situation. This has happened to me many times too. Whenever this happens, I go for a run. Everything becomes okay. Seoha says, tell me the truth. What is your secret? Ji-yoon says, then come on, marry me. Seoha says, why are you suddenly proposing marriage to me? Ji-yoon says, I have given you a hint. From that you will understand who I am and where we met. In the next scene, Ji-yoon says, I came to give you some documents because I also want to save this hotel. Then Ji-yoon comes out and is sitting somewhere drinking. She remembers, I forgot to give one important thing. Then Ji-yoon gives him a photo. That photo is of the hotel where many people had come. Ji-yoon says, I wanted to tell you what type of hotel I want. Seoha says, I will think about it. Later, Ji-yoon comes out, and in the bar we see Cho-won. She talks to Ji-yoon. Can you work for me? I heard you're going to buy a landscape company. I want to apply to it. If you hide my file inside, it would be a great favor. If I had told Seoha this myself, he would not have listened to me. That's why you do it. Ji-yoon takes the file and places it inside, but just then, Do-yoon starts looking for the file. He says, what are you doing here? Ji-yoon says, I am just helping you. Then Do-yoon comes to Ji-yoon and says, do you have any plan behind working in this hotel? Just then, Seoha sees both of them. He asks Do-yoon, what is happening between the two of you? Do-yoon says, that girl is very strange. I asked her if she has any hidden motive here and she said yes. In the next scene, it is shown that Seoha is sitting under the water at his house. He is trying to remember who Ji-yoon is. Then a memory is shown in a flashback. 9-year-old Hyeon holds his hand and says, marry me. Then Seoha comes out of the water, goes to his room, and sees a handkerchief. Then Ji-yoon is with her friend. Seoha calls her and says, I remember everything. I want to meet you. Come quickly. Ji-yoom meets him. Then a back scene is shown where Seoha is upset and leaves his house, very angry. He sees some laborers breaking a wall. Seeing them, he himself starts breaking the wall. Just then, little Hyun is shown. Seoha puts his bag down, but Hyun takes that bag away. Just then, some laborers come back and see a boy breaking the wall. They say, "What are you doing?" As Seoha gets scared. Just then, Hyun comes, holds his hand and says, "Come on, let's run away." Then they both run away from there. In the next scene, they are both talking. Hyun is laughing. "Come on, let's get married. I will grow up soon." Seoha says, "What is your age?" Hyun says, "I don't count my age." She sees Seoha is hurt. She takes off her handkerchief and ties it on the wound and says, "If you are hurting, you should cry. Don't hurt yourself." In the present, Ji-yoom says, "I have grown up. Let's get married." Seoha says, "It's not that simple." Ji-yoom says, "I have been thinking about this for a long time. I haven't made this decision suddenly." In the next scene, Seoha is shown at his home, wearing a new suit with a bouquet in his hand. He calls near Do-yoon's room, but Do-yoon doesn't pick up the call. Then he calls Ji-yoom and says, "I need your help. You were the one who said, 'Whenever I need you, I can call you.'" Ji-yoom says, "So I have come." Then, Ji-yoom comes with a car. Both are going in the car. Seoha is getting calls again and again, but Seoha does not pick up the calls. Then both reach a deserted place. Seoha says to Ji-yoom, "I will go ahead alone. You wait here." Ji-yoom says, "Okay." Then Seoha goes near an old grave. That grave is Hyun's. Ji-yoom sees it and is shocked. She remembers her past life. Little Seoha is standing near the grave. Ji-yoom sits down. In the next scene, Ji-yoom and Seoha are coming together. Ji-yoom knows that Seoha is sad because he has just come from Hyun's grave. Ji-yoom brings him to a flower garden and says, "Whenever you feel sad about your past life, then you should think about these flowers. By doing this, you will feel better." Seoha says, "You are a very strange person." Ji-yoom says, "That's how I am. I might seem strange at first, but later you will start to understand me." Then Seoha says, "Maybe you are not my type." Ji-yoom says, "Who is your type?" He says, "I like older girls." So Ji-yoom says, "I have grown up now." Then Seoha says to stop talking now, and both sit in their car. Just then a truck comes towards them. Seoha panics seeing it. He feels that the truck has hit the car. He remembers his past accident, so he gets very scared. Then Seoha gets out of the car. He's having trouble breathing. Ji-yoom immediately comes to him and says, "Everything is fine." After a while, Seoha calms down. In the next scene, Cho-won and her mom appear. They are both standing in front of Hyun's photo. Today is Hyun's death anniversary. Later, Ji-yoom leaves her house and goes to Seoha. Next scene, Seoha is in his house playing the piano. He remembers what Ji-yoom said, "Whenever you miss someone, play the piano. You will feel better." Just then, Ji-yoom arrives. Seoha asks, "What are you doing here?" Ji-yoom says, "I remember one thing, and I have come to tell you." Then a back scene is shown here, when Seoha had told Hyun, "I like you." So Hyun had said that she would answer on his upcoming birthday. Now in the present, Ji-yoom says, "I like you. I know, time is not important, and this time is right for me. I don't want to lose it." Just then, Cho-won comes out from inside Seoha's house. Seoha says, "You go inside." Seoha then says to Ji-yoom, "I have a guest in my house, so I will talk to her and come." Inside the house, Seoha meets Cho-won. She's washing dishes. Seoha says to Cho-won, "What are you doing here?" So Cho-won says, "I made a cake for you. You blow out its candle." Seoha tells her to stop all this. So Cho-won says, "Why are you behaving like this with me? You didn't even tell me you had settled here. I am very worried because of you." Then she comes out with the cake. She sees Ji-yoom outside, so she gives the cake to Ji-yoom. "I made this cake for Seoha, but Seoha has refused to take it, so you take this." Then Cho-won starts to leave. So Ji-yoom asks her, "Do you like Seoha?" Cho-won says, "Why should I tell you this?" So Ji-yoom says, "Because I like Seoha." So Cho-won says, "If I say that I also like Seoha, then what will you do, Ji-yoom?" In the next scene, we see that Ji-yoom goes home and her aunt is there. She asks, "Why are you so upset?" Ji-yoom says, "My sister also likes Seoha." Then Ji-yoom says, "I was born very early." Her aunt asks, "What do you mean?" Ji-yoom explains, "My previous life was very short, and I feel that I was killed." Next, Seoha is in the parking area. Just then, Ji-yoom arrives. She says to Seoha, "You were thinking about me, right? Yesterday, I crossed the line. Sorry for that." Seoha says, "Thank you." Ji-yoom asks, "Thank you for what? Did you accept my proposal?" He gets shy and leaves from there. Next scene, a girl comes inside the hotel who has a bouquet of flowers in her hand. She is changing her hand. She is changing the flowers on a table. Just then, Seoha comes. He sees the flowers and says, "These are the same flowers that I also have." Then, Seoha meets Ji-yoom inside the office. He asks, "You changed these flowers, right?" Ji-yoom says, "No." In the next scene, Cho-won and Ji-yoom have come to drink. Cho-won thinks about her childhood, remembering how they used to play together. In the scene, it is shown that Hyun and Cho-won are playing in the water, but then someone's voice is heard. Cho-won asks Hyun, "If me and Seoha were drowning in the water, who would you save first?" Hyun says, "You answer me. Who would you save first?" Cho-won thinks and says, "I would save Seoha." Hyun says, "Not me." So Cho-won says, "You know how to swim." So Hyun says, "Seoha knows how to swim too." Then Cho-won says, "Seoha doesn't have a mother. That's why I want to be with him." Then in the present, Cho-won is talking to her boyfriend. Ji-yoom thinks they are talking about Seoha, but she says, "Not Seoha, it's his friend Do-yoon." Hearing this, Ji-yoom says, "Do you like him that much?" Cho-won says, "Yes," and then says to Ji-yoom, "I told you that I like Seoha. Did you take that as truth? Did you give up after knowing that?" Ji-yoom says, "I didn't give up, but I was feeling very restless." Then Cho-won shows a photo of Hyun, which is a photo of Hyun. She tells, "That is Hyun, my sister. Ever since my sister left me, the world has been silent." Next scene, Seoha is in his house. He is regretting what he said to Cho-won. In the next scene, Seoha comes near Cho-won's house, but he does not have the courage to go inside and starts to go back. Then it is shown that a taxi arrives, in which Ji-yoom and Cho-won are. Ji-yoom rings the doorbell of the house but hides. Then it is shown that Cho-won's mother comes inside the house. She says to Cho-won, "Why did you drink so much? Was there a boy?" She says, "There is no boy. I was drinking with a girl." Ji-yoom, also seeing her mom, says, "You haven't changed at all." Just then we see that Cho-won's mother sees Ji-yoom here and says, "Who are you? And what are you doing here?" Ji-yoom says, "I was passing by when I saw your daughter." Then Cho-won's mother comes and holds Ji-yoom's hand and says, "I heard what you said. You said that you haven't changed at all." She then looks at her and says, "Are you my Hyun? You told me that even if I die, wait for me. I will come back to meet you." Later, Ji-yoom also calls her Mom and hugs her. After some time, we see that Seoha comes. Seoha is then looking at Ji-yoom. We see that Ji-yoom is just thinking that she has found her mother. Seoha comes to Ji and stops her from doing so. So Ji-yoom stops. She calls out Seoha's name. Then they look at each other. Ji-yoom says, "I really like you." Just then, Cho-won's mother comes out, so Seoha holds Ji-yoom's hand and starts to take her away. Then going forward, Seoha says, "You were behaving very strangely there." Ji-yoom says, "I saw Cho-won's mother. After that, I remembered my mother. My mother left me when I was little. That's why I got emotional." Seoha says, "It's okay." Then they both go inside a store and have dinner there. First, they talk about drinks. Seoha asks, "How many glasses of wine can you drink?" Ji-yoom states a high number. After dinner, Seoha takes her to a place where Ji-yoom says, "This is not the first journey in my life." Seoha says, "Whenever I think about you, should I ask you?" Ji-yoom says, "I think you have become my fan." Seoha says, "It's not like that." Ji-yoom says, "I know. At first you don't realize it, but later it feels like you've become a fan." Then she places her hand near Seoha's heart and says, "Your heart is beating so fast." Just then, there is an awkward moment. Seoha runs his hand through her hair, but then pulls back himself and says, "You're going in the wrong direction. And by the way, I am not your fan." Then he says, "You've got the wrong guy." Then Ji-yoom comes out, stops a taxi, and sends it away. In the next scene, Seoha is saying, "Where is the Choi family's garden? I need to meet them. Maybe we need her. She is very talented. We should go to her." In the next scene, it is shown that Seoha and Do-yoon are going to the Choi family's garden. Do-yoon tells her, "We have come regarding a landscape contract so that we can see your garden." Cho-won says, "You are completely free. You can see everything." Just then, Ji-yoom also comes there. Ji-yoom and Cho-won are talking. Cho-won says, "Yesterday I was very drunk perhaps, so forgive me if you felt bad about anything." Ji-yoom says, "No, nothing happened." Cho-won remembers, "Last night you were with me in the taxi, and you put me to sleep so lovingly, then you even came to drop me home." Cho-won asks, "By the way, why did you drop me at my house? Did I say that I want to go home?" Ji-yoom says, "You were the one who told me to do so." So Cho-won says, "I don't remember anything. No matter how drunk I am, I never go to my parents' house." Then she asks Ji-yoom, "By the way, what is your age?" Ji-yoom says, "Why are you asking this?" Ji-yoom says, "We met only a few days ago, but I feel as if we have known each other before. That's why I am asking your age." Ji-yoom thinks to herself, "Should I tell her today that I was her sister?" Then she gets nervous, and the glass falls from her hand. Just then, Seoha comes there and asks, "What happened?" Ji-yoom says, "Nothing, I cleaned it all up." Seoha says to Cho-won, "I am leaving the hotel's landscaping. to you. I hope you will do it well. Cho-won is very happy to hear this. The next scene is of a girl whose name is Hana. Hana is a dancer and is dancing on stage. Some other girls are also with her. Just then we see that Mingi is there and is quietly watching Hana. Next scene, Seoha is going home in a taxi. Just then, a girl is running on the road, and a boy is also running after her. That boy is Dongwoo. He catches his sister and says, "I need money. Please give it to me." But Ji-yoon refuses. Dongwoo forcibly stops her. Just then, Seoha comes there and grabs Dongwoo's hand. Dongwoo punches Seoha in the face, which makes Seoha's mouth bleed. The next day, Ji-yoon comes to Seoha and says, "Are you okay?" Seoha asks, "Who was that?" Ji-yoon says, "He is my brother. He was asking me for money, that's why he came." Then they both drink in a shop. They have a friendly competition to see who can drink more. Seoha is very drunk, but Ji-yoon is not much affected. Later, they are both walking back on foot. Ji-yoon asks Seoha to sit, but there is no bench there. Seoha refuses to sit on the ground. So he puts his coat on the ground and asks her to sit on it, but Seoha picks up the coat and puts it on her shoulder. He remembers his Hyun used to do the same thing. He says, "Why is this reminding me of Hyun?" Then he touches Ji-yoon's face and thinks, she doesn't look like her. Then he comes close to Ji-yoon. Ji-yoon asks, "Can I kiss you?" Seoha says, "You can." But Ji-yoon says, "No, I can't. I don't want you to regret this later." After a while, Seoha falls asleep. Then he says to Ji-yoon, "I had an accident some time ago. I liked a girl, she died, and after that I haven't physically touched anyone else." Ji-yoon says, "A shoulder is for support." In the next scene, Ji-yoon is shown trying to get a taxi, but no taxi stops. Then she sees a man putting some things in his car. In the next scene, it is shown that Ji-yoon is driving, and Seoha is sleeping in the back seat of that car. But a little further on, we see Seoha falls down. Ji-yoon picks him up and takes care of him. She asks him, "Are you okay?" Then Ji-yoon calls Cho-won and says, "I need a car." Cho-won brings the car. Cho-won asks her to sit in the front, but Ji-yoon says, "No, put Seoha in the front, otherwise there could be a problem." Later, Cho-won asks them, "What did you mean by problems could arise?" She says, "Seoha had an accident when he was in the back seat of the car, that's why I said that." Cho-won says, "I had no idea about this. I had completely forgotten." Then it is shown that they bring Seoha home, but they don't know the passcode for the welcome door. Later, Cho-won calls Do-yoon and asks, "What is the passcode for the door?" Seoha has drunk a lot of alcohol, so he has to be taken inside the house. Do-yoon tells them. Later, they both take him to his room and put him to sleep. Cho-won says, "I have brought water alone." Ji-yoon says, "Okay." Seoha remembers when the accident happened, Hyun was on top of him. Later, when Hyun is taken out of the car, Hyun was holding Seoha's hand. Cho-won brings water and goes to Ji-yoon. But just then we see Seoha is holding Ji-yoon's hand and saying, "Ji-yoon, don't go." Later, Cho-won comes with water, and Ji-yoon says to her, "Give me the water and you go home. I will stay with Seoha." Cho-won says, "Okay." Then Cho-won comes out and remembers something. She remembers Ji-yoon's old memories, as if she had been in such a situation before. Then we see that Ji-yoon and Cho-won are putting Seoha in the back seat of the car. But Ji-yoon refuses, because once before, Seoha had an accident when he was sitting in the back seat. Then a flashback comes, where a little Hyun is saying to someone, "I don't want to see you here," and she is crying. Inside the house, Ji-yoon and Seoha are together. Ji-yoon touches his face. Then her eyes fall on a box. She picks up the box and says, "Why do you still have this?" This is the same box that Hyun had given to Seoha as a birthday gift in the past, when he was little. The box had a lock on it. At that time, Hyun had not told him where the key was. Now she says, "Why do you still have this box?" Then she goes out crying. Then we see that Seoha is awake and sees Ji-yoon crying. In the next scene, Seoha is in his house and is watching something about flashbacks on a device. Then he has intense pain in his ear, which is very strong. In the next scene, Do-yoon comes to pick up Seoha. He goes inside the house and sees that all the things are scattered. The TV volume is also quite high. Then he goes to Seoha and asks, "What happened?" First, Seoha says Ji-yoon's name, then says, "Nothing happened. Anyway, I am not going to the office today. I am going to take a day off." Then we see Do-yoon saying to someone on the phone, "Did you drink with Seoha?" Cho-won says, "I did not drink. Ji-yoon drank with him, and she was the one with him." In the next scene, Seoha is shown, who is underwater. He is thinking about Ji-yoon and remembering their romantic moments. Then he says to himself, "Why does Ji-yoon remind me of my friend? Why do I think about her so much?" Just then, Cho-won comes to meet him, but Seoha is not there. At that time, he is underwater. Cho-won thinks he might have died, so she goes to save him, and crying, she tells him that she thought he had drowned. Then Do-yoon also arrives. Do-yoon says to Seoha, What is going on? Seoha tells, I think I like Ji-yoon. She always reminds me of Ha-yeon. In the next scene, Cho-won messages Do-yoon, I am going to the beach with Seoha. Will you come? Do-yoon agrees. Then Cho-won also messages Ji-yoon. We are going to the beach with Seoha. You should come too. In the next scene, we see that all 4 people have arrived at the beach. There, Seoha is talking to Ji-yoon. Seoha says, I am older than you, but why do you call me Seoha? Ji-yoon says, when did I say Seoha? Then, after thinking a little, Ji-yoon accepts that yes, she had called him Seoha. Seoha then says, when you remember your past life, do you cry? Maybe I know the reason. Ji-yoon gives no answer, but then she says, okay, so do you want to date me? If you need time to make a decision, then take it, and then let me know. Then all 4 people go to a nearby house. This is the same house where Ji-yoon and Cho-won used to play in their childhood. There, Ji-yoon feels a little cold, and Cho-won puts her to sleep. Then Cho-won comes to Seoha and says, can I sit with you? Seoha answers in the affirmative. Just then, it is shown in a flashback that Seoha had gone to Hyun's funeral and was just leaving. But Hyun's mom had seen him. Hyun's mom stops him and asks, where are you going? Just then, Cho-won also comes there and shouts, saying, what are you doing here? I don't want to see you here. My sister's death happened with you. Now in the present, Seoha says to Cho-won, you and your sister are both alike. I knew that if she grew up, she would look like you. Next scene, Min-gi is shown outside the restaurant. Ji-yoon's aunt is inside the restaurant and is cleaning. She sees Min-gi and says, the restaurant is closed. Min-gi says, I have come for work. Just then, we see that something happens to the aunt. Min-gi takes her away. In the next scene, Ji-yoon is shown, who is sleeping. Then she wakes up, comes out of her room and starts looking around. She remembers her old memories, where she's little and is playing with her sister Cho-won. A scene of one of their games is shown, in which they have hidden some things in a box, and Cho-won has to find them. Now in the present, Ji-yoon goes near the clock and takes out a thing from the box, which is a doll. Just then, we see that Cho-won also arrives and sees that the thing in Ji-yoon's hand is the same thing that my sister Hyun had hidden in childhood. In that house, Ji-yoon also finds some more old family photos, in which Hyun, Cho-won, and their mother are there. A paper is stuck on the back, on which someone's height is written. This was Cho-won's height. Just then in the present, Cho-won asks Ji-yoon, how do you know that this thing is kept here? Ji-yoon says, I came here to go to the bathroom and just then my hair tie fell right here. I am looking for that. Just then, Seoha is there and was listening to their conversation. He asks, what are you doing here? She says something. So Seoha goes outside. Cho-won asks Ji-yoon, how did you know that the thing is inside the clock? My sister had hidden that thing inside the clock. I could never find it. But how did you know? Ji-yoon says casually, just like that I found it. Then we see that Seoha is also thinking about this same thing outside. Ji-yoon also comes out with an umbrella. Just then he says to Ji-yoon, are you sick? How are you feeling now? Ji-yoon says, I have taken my medicine. I am fine now. Seoha says, you once told me that I am your first love, but I told you about Hyun that she was my first love. That's why I can't move your feelings forward. Ji-yoon says, so this is your answer to dating, huh? Seoha answers in the affirmative. In the next scene, we see Min-gi. In the next scene, Cho-won comes outside her house thinking about something and falls down. Just then, Do-yoon is there, who catches her and says, you should walk a little more carefully. Cho-won says, do you know how Ji-yoon and Seoha first met? Do-yoon says, Ji-yoon had applied for a job in our hotel. Cho-won asks, did you two know each other before? Do-yoon says, yes, when we were little we met then too. Then we see Ji-yoon is in her aunt's restaurant. Just then Min-gi also comes there and introduces himself. I am Min-gi. Then Ji-yoon asks, who is this boy? Her aunt says, he works in our restaurant. He is a very good boy. Next scene, some men go into a room and beat Hyun's brother Dong-woo because he had borrowed money from them. But now Dong-woo does not have the money. Dong-woo says, I have an idea. My sister works in a company. Her boyfriend also works there. You talk to her boyfriend. Maybe he can convince my sister. Then we see Seoha, who is talking on the phone. I am stuck in traffic. I will be there soon. Just then those men come by car and say, we need to talk to you. Seoha says, I don't know you. They say, you don't know us, but you must know Dong-woo, right? They go to him and say, my sister is in danger because of them, you have to help. Then they send a message to Ji-yoon. Your boyfriend is with us. Ji-yoon does not believe at first, but when she gets a photo of Seoha with Dong-woo, she is convinced. That man says, you either give the money or convince his sister to give the money. Seoha says, I will never do that. Just then, they try to stop him, but Seoha starts fighting with them. Then hearing the sound of a siren, a man says, looks like the police have arrived. Run from here. Just then Ji-yoon arrives, and she has a siren in her hand. Seoha says, what are you doing here? Ji-yoon says, I came to save you. Then Ji-yoon, picking up a card that had fallen, says, don't you worry, I will handle this situation. But Seoha says, I will handle it. Don't you worry. Dongwoo is observing both of them. Dongwoo says, is this your girlfriend? Seoha says, it's nothing like that. Dongwoo smiles and says, I know, she is your girlfriend. Then Dongwoo introduces himself to Ji-yoon. My name is Dongwoo. Ji-yoon asks, are you Hyun's brother? Dongwoo says yes. Yes, something like that. Next scene. Ji-yoon, Seoha and Dongwoo are having dinner. Then these two come out, and Seoha says to her, don't do this next time. Ji-yoon says, I came to save you. I care about you. Seoha says, I don't want anyone else to get hurt the way I did, so don't do this. Then Ji-yoon asks, what did you like about Hyun? Seoha says, her eyes. She was very beautiful. Ji-yoon asks with a smile, so what do you think about my eyes? Ji-yoon comes near him and shows him her eyes. Just then, Seoha steps back a little and says, are you going too far? Let's go inside and eat. But just then, Ji-yoon gets a phone call. It's a call from Cho-won, who is calling her. In the next scene, Ji-yoon goes to Cho-won's place and asks her, what happened? Cho-won has drunk a lot. She says to her, I didn't think you would turn out like this. You tried to become Hyun. You fooled me. And you were getting close to Seoha by becoming Hyun. I know you have some secret purpose, and that purpose is to get to Seoha. But I don't want you to do that, because I have already gone through a very difficult time regarding my sister Hyun. So don't do this to me again from now on. After this, Cho-won comes out. Ji-yoon says, I'll drop you home. But Cho-won refuses. Then Cho-won says to Ji-yoon, you remind me of my sister? I wanted you to become my sister. When I was drunk, you put me in the car and took me near my house. But how did you know where my house was? Maybe it's because you know my sister's old memories. That's why you remind me of her, and I wanted you to become my sister. But thinking all this is crazy. Cho-won starts crying. Ji-yoon watches Cho-won from a distance and says, you haven't changed at all. She says to herself, I know I shouldn't do this. I will regret it later, but I have to do this. Then Ji-yoon goes to Cho-won and says, look at your sister. Cho-won says, what did you say? Ji-yoon says, I am your sister. Ji-yoon says, I am your sister. I can remember my previous life. So in my last life, I was your elder sister, Hyun. Cho-won says, you are acting in some drama. Ji-yoon says, so let me remind you of everything. There are 3 moles behind your garden, and on the side of your room there is a scar from when you fell in your childhood. You cried a lot that day. In the next scene, Ji-yoon comes back to her aunt. She says, I told Cho-won everything, that I am her sister. The aunt says, will this be okay? Ji-yoon says, I had to do it. I couldn't stop myself from doing it. Just then we see Min-gi, who is listening to their conversation. Ji-yoon sees him and says, you haven't left yet? Min-gi says, I am leaving now, and leaves. In the next scene, Min-gi goes to Hana and says, Ji-yoon is staying there. Then he asks, did you meet her? Then we see that Hana had come to the hotel and had seen Ji-yoon. Min-gi explains that the girl living with that lady and this one have known each other from a previous life. In the next scene, Cho-won goes to her house and meets her mom. After that, she asks her mom, are there 3 moles behind my garden? Her mom says, yes. Cho-won says, there is also a mark on my room. So her mom says, yes, you got that when you were little and fell down. Then Cho-won understands that Ji-yoon was telling the truth. In the next scene, Seoha comes to Cho-won. Seoha sees that Cho-won is a little worried, so he asks, is everything okay? Cho-won asks, do you believe in previous lives? Seoha says, your sister asked me the same question when we were little. Cho-won asks, by the way, where is Ji-yoon? I need to talk to her. Seoha says, she has taken a day off today. In the next scene, Ji-yoon is going somewhere in a car and talking to her brother. She asks, who is your boss who is asking you for money? There are some men there who ask her, who is your boss? She does not tell. Then Ji-yoon hits one of them. After that, a man says, the money that Dongwoo took from us is not being found. She gives him a box and says, this is for you. This is more expensive than the money you are asking from my brother. Take this and stop bothering us. She also gets a document signed so that there is no trouble in the future. Then she leaves from there. But just then we see Dongwoo, who was watching his sister. Later he was listening to her talk. Then he hears a man talking to someone saying, check what the name of the hotel chairman's son is. That man tells him that his name is Seoha. Later that man says that when he was little, he had a car accident that was very big. That accident was not actually an accident. Someone had caused it. And he says, I did it. I was about to have a heart attack because I had killed the wrong child. Later it is shown that Cho-won comes to Ji-yoon. Cho-won says, now for the past life matter that you are my sister, because you remember past lives, I am not accepting it as true for this reason. But if all these things turn out to be lies, I will never forgive you. Then she hugs Cho-won. Min-gi was watching them both. In the next scene, 2 people are watching the news of Seoha's accident on their phones. Later, Dongwoo thinks, if I find the man who tried to kill Seoha, I can get money. In the next scene, Ji-yoon comes to Min-gi's room and sees something in a suitcase. Then she looks and thinks, why is this magic bell here? Then they hear a sound and some flashbacks happen, which Ji-yoon has seen before. A man kills another man with a sword and takes back his country. Then Ji-yoon says, I don't understand why I am seeing all these things. Then Min-gi watches, and maybe he also wanted Ji-yoon to see all this. Then we see Seoha going for a jog, but he gets a message which says, I know when you were little you had an accident, but your accident was caused. Then we see that Seoha goes to Dongwoo. Dongwoo tells him the truth and says that your accident was caused when you were little. I heard a man talking to someone. They were talking about your accident. He also says, I was about to have a heart attack because I killed the wrong child. Seoha thinks, meaning she wanted to kill me, but by mistake, Hyeon died. Dongwoo says that those are the same people who were asking me for money. Then we see that Seoha comes to a place and talks to a man. He says, I know when I was little, I had an accident, but the accident was caused by someone. I also know that you did this work, but I just want to know who gave you this order. I am giving you until tomorrow. Then we see Ji-yoon also comes, following Seoha. Ji-yoon sees a man talking on the phone. He says that Seoha wants to know how his accident happened when he was little, who caused his accident. Then Ji-yoon finds out that their accident did not just happen. Their accident was caused. She has also understood this matter. There Seoha is shown sitting in a taxi and going somewhere. Then he gets a message which says, when you were little and you had an accident, your car was being driven by Do-yoon's father. Seoha remembers the accident scene, and the driver who was driving the car says, don't worry, the ambulance will arrive very soon. In the next scene, Jaeum is seen who comes to the man who is talking on the phone. She grabs him and says, I will kill you. So tell me, who caused Seoha's accident? Ji-yoon says, I am the same girl who died in that accident. That man says, I can't do that. If I tell his name, I will die. Later, she lets him go. In the next scene, a man is introduced to us. This man's name is Mr. Kim, and he runs a security company. He is also the CEO of 24 Caps. Just then, we see that Seoha's stepmother has come to his uncle. Just then, the secretary comes to them and says, Mr. Kim is here outside and he has to talk about something very important. He then says to Seoha's stepmother, I will think about this matter. Seeing Mr. Kim coming, she hides and starts listening to their conversation. In the next scene, Do-yoon is shown who comes to Seoha's house. Seoha says to him, I have to talk to you about something. Can I see your dad's photo? Was your father my father's driver? Do-yoon says yes. Seoha says, the day I had an accident, was he driving the car that day? Do-yoon says, yes, he was driving. Leave this matter, let's go inside. But Seoha walks over him and says, you call yourself a friend, so why didn't you tell me? He says, I am not your friend, I am your secretary. Then they both fight. Do-yoon says, I am just accepting that my dad was at his job and he died, and I don't know anything. And I was very angry, so I told you that I am not your friend. Seoha says, I know why you said that. Later, Seoha comes home. Outside the house, it is seen that Ji-yoon was sitting. Seoha says, what are you doing here? Ji-yoon says, I was missing you, so I came here. Yes, I will tell you by the way that tonight I will stay with you. Seoha says, can you hug me? So Ji-yoon hugs him. In the next scene, we see the chairman who calls someone and gives an order to close Ho-sik's chapter. Then that man goes to Ho-sik and says, disappear from here as soon as possible or you will be killed. In the next scene, Seoha is having dinner with his family. Just then, he gets a call from Ho-sik, so Seoha goes out. Ho-sik says to him, I want to tell you the truth at the risk of my life. The person you are looking for is a man from the Me group and he is close to you. Hearing this, Seoha becomes very sad, so he jumps into the swimming pool and tries to remember his past under the water. Then we see Ji-yoon, to meet whom Cho-won has come to her house. She is talking to her when she gets a call from Seoha. In the next scene, we see Seoha walking alone on the road. He is under a lot of stress. Just then, Ji-yoon comes to him and asks him, are you okay, Seoha? He says, you don't know anything. What is happening to me? So Ji-yoon says, now everything will be fine, and then starts wiping the water from his face. Seoha can't control himself, so he kisses Ji-yoon. As soon as he realizes, he steps back from Ji-yoon, so Ji-yoon says, Seoha, you just kissed me, right? So Seoha says, no, this was not a kiss. So Ji-yoon says, yes, this was not a kiss. Then she goes close to him and says, because a kiss is this. Then she kisses him. Seoha says, meeting you. I feel like I have come to a new world. Otherwise, before this, I was living in darkness. Then Ji-yoon takes him to her house and cooks for him, which Seoha likes a lot. Ji-yoon thinks, when he was little, I made this for him. Will he remember? Just then, Seoha says, why do I feel like I have eaten this before? Hearing this, Ji-yoon becomes happy. Then we see Ji-yoon reading one of Seoha's books. In it, she sees a flower petal which is from the same tree under which they both had met. Then Ji-yoon goes and hugs Seoha and says, "Seoha, are you my—" Before she could say her words, Seoha puts his hand on her mouth and says, "If you are about to propose, then stop. Now is not the time for it." Ji-yoon says, "Please, be my boyfriend. I am saying it for the second time. Don't you trust me?" Seoha says, "I like you, but I need a little time right now." And then he hugs her, and then says, "The third time you propose, I will give you an answer." So Ji-yoon says, "By the way, we are not in a relationship, but we can kiss." Seoha smiles hearing this. Then they are both about to kiss. Just then, Seoha gets a call from Hyun's brother Dongwoo. So Ji-yoon says, "Why is he calling you?" Then Ji-yoon goes outside to Hyun's brother Dongwoo and asks him, "Why were you calling Seoha?" So Dongwoo says, "That day I heard Ho-sik saying that Seoha's accident was caused by someone." Ji-yoon says, "So you told him this?" Dongwoo says, "You know this." Then Ji-yoon says, "From today onwards, don't let me see you near Seoha." On the other hand, Seoha tells Do-yoon, "That accident was caused intentionally by someone, and it's possible that the person who caused the accident is close to me." Do-yoon says, "If that's the case, I will help you find him." In the next scene, Ji-yoon asks Min-gi, "What did you do before?" And then tells him, "That day, I saw magic bells in your room. Touching them made me feel strange." Min-gi asks, "How old are you?" So Ji-yoon says, "Why are you asking this?" So Min-gi says, "How many of your births do you remember?" Ji-yoon is shocked to hear this and asks Min-gi, "Do you also remember your previous births?" So Min-gi says, "This is my third birth." Then he shows Ji-yoon those magic bells and says, "By touching this, you will also remember your previous birth. You will have to find your life partner from your first birth." Ji-yoon says, "Why do I have to do this?" So Min-gi says, "You remember your births? The secret to this might be in this fact." Then Ji-yoon touches those magic bells and she sees the same scene that she had seen before. Ji-yoon gets scared seeing this and drops those magic bells. Then we see Do-yoon with the chairman. He asks him for Seoha's report and says to Do-yoon, "Seoha has heard from someone that his accident was caused by someone. You explain to him. He should pay attention to the hotel and not waste his time in these things." So Do-yoon says, "He is running the hotel quite well." So the chairman says, "I want all of Seoha's reports." And then Do-yoon says, "That car accident was not a small thing, my dad died in it." In the next scene, Do-yoon sees Seoha and Ji-yoon together in the office looking very happy, so he sends a message to Ji-yoon saying, "I need to talk to you." Ji-yoon comes to him, so Do-yoon says to her, "This is a workplace, so you should respect Seoha's dignity. If you don't stay within your limits, I will have to tell everyone who you are." Hearing his words, Ji-yoon says, "So you are sure that I remember my past life?" So Do-yoon says, "Do you remember the jewelry box?" So Ji-yoon says, "That box that I gave to Seoha on his birthday, it is still closed. Do you want to know what is in it?" Do-yoon says, "No, you should tell Seoha himself." Then as Ji-yoon is leaving from there, she meets Hana. Ji-yoon says to her, "Last time I saw you on the road, who are you?" So Hana says, "In my previous life, I was Seoha's mom." Hearing this, Ji-yoon happily hugs her. Then we see Seoha, who gets a message from Ho-sik that "I have evidence, but you will have to make a deal with us." So Seoha goes to meet him. Everyone sees him going. When Seoha reaches there was no one there. He sees Ji-yoon there. He says to her, "Why are you following me?" So Ji-yoon says, "Sorry, but I was worried about you." Seoha says, "What if something had happened here and you got hurt because of me?" Then they both come out. Ji-yoon asks him, "Why did you come here?" So Seoha says, "Why do you need to know everything?" So Ji-yoon says, "You want to know about your accident, don't you?" Just then, Seoha gets a message from Ho-sik that "I am sending you the location to make a deal. Come here, but come alone." So Seoha starts to go there. Ji-yoon says to him, "I will go with you. Someone is needed to drive too." So Seoha agrees. On reaching there, Seoha says to Ji-yoon, "From here on, I will go alone. You wait for me right here." Ji-yoon says, "Okay, take care of yourself." Then Seoha starts to leave from there. Seeing him go, Ji-yoon starts to remember her first life. She sees Seoha in a traditional dress. There are some other people there too, and also a man who has a sword with blood marks on his hand. Then in the present, Ji-yoon starts to go after Seoha. Now we see Seoha is outside the same building where Ho-sik had told him to come. Just then, he sees Ho-sik's body falling from above. Then, he goes inside that building and starts to fight with some people there. Just then, a man hits him on the head with a stick. Just then, Ji-yoon also comes there. She is shocked to see Ho-sik's body. Just then, Seoha comes to her and hugs Ji-yoom. Then the police arrive there. Then we see a man who has a bag in his hand. Then we see Ji-yoom with the chairman. He says to Ji-yoom, if you want what's best for Seoha, then you will have to stop him from getting involved in these matters. Then he gives Ji-yoom some money and says, I want you to keep your mouth shut. So Ji-yoom says, why does it seem like you want to hide something? Your son had an accident in his childhood, and today your son's life was in danger, so you should be finding the real criminal. The chairman says, the police are doing their job. Then we see the man who has that same bag. Then we are shown a flashback when Ho-sik and that man were in that building. So Ho-sik had given that man the bag and said, all the evidence is in this. It's dangerous here, so you take this and go. In the next scene, Ji-yoom says to Min-gi, I need to talk to you. She tells him, I remembered something about my past life. Min-gi says, tell me the whole story. So Ji-yoom says, I was in a place that I had never seen before. Then there I saw some people among whom there was a person who is very special to me in this life. Then she asks Min-gi, are you a part of my first life? Were we in a relationship? Min-gi says, absolutely not, and tells her to grab those magic bells again. Then Ji-yoom touches them and she sees herself with Seoha. Seoha is there with some children. Then they meet on a bridge. Ji-yoom is getting happy seeing all this, and we are shown another boy in Ji-yoom's first life, and that is Min-gi. Then Ji-yoom puts down those bells. After this, we see Seoha at home. Someone rings his doorbell. When Seoha goes to check, there is no one there. Only a bag is left on which a note was written, my boss Ho-sik did not commit suicide. He said that the evidence of the criminal is in this bag. Then Seoha takes the bag inside and opens it, and in it there are some documents, in which was the name of the driver who had caused the accident then. Seoha sees it is Ji-yoom's dad. After a while, Seoha gets a call from Ji-yoom. She asks him, where are you? So Seoha says, I couldn't sleep so I came out for some air. So Ji-yoom says, if we had met 1,000 years ago, what would our relationship be? Seoha says nothing. So Ji-yoom says, listen, there is fire all around and we both are standing on a bridge. This is how we met and we fell in love at first sight. Now fate has brought us together again. Now we will be one forever, which will bring us peace. Hearing this, Seoha gets emotional. The next day, Ji-yoom sees that her dad has come to the office. So she asks him, what have you come here to do? Her dad starts to fight with Ji-yoom, so Ji-yoom throws him out of the office. Seoha is also watching all this. Then he comes to Ji-yoom and says, are you okay now? So Ji-yoom says, yes. So Seoha says, today I will make dinner for you. So Ji-yoom starts to smile. Then we see Hana brings a flower bouquet to Seoha's stepmother and says to her, someone has sent this for you. After Hana leaves, she sees a note in the bouquet, which says, these are my most favorite flowers. Do you remember anything? Seoha's stepmother gets nervous and puts the flowers on the table. Just then, a flashback is shown. She is with Seoha's mom, and Seoha's mom is telling them about those same flowers. After this, we see Ji-yoom with Seoha. Ji-yoom tells him, the one who came to the hotel today was my dad. My relationship with him is very bad. There is not a single good memory with him. I have gone through a very bad time. Then one day I left home and my aunt gave me shelter. She is not my relative, but still, she has always cared for me. Seoha says, my relationship with my dad is not good either. Let it go. Let's talk about something else. From now on, I will think about you and me. Then they eat together. Then Ji-yoom has brought a gift for Seoha to keep, which she goes to Seoha's room. Just then, she sees papers related to the accident there. Seeing them, Ji-yoom understands that the one who caused the accident that day was her dad. Then she goes and hugs Seoha. Seoha asks her, what happened? So she says, just let me be like this for a while. In the next scene, Ji-yoom goes to her dad and asks about the accident. Just then, a flashback is shown, in which her dad is sitting with Ho-sik. He says, so you mean I have to blow up the car? Remembering this, in the present, her dad says to Ji-yoom, I just did all this for money. Ji-yoom says, you are an animal. Don't show me your face from today onwards. Then we see Seoha burns those documents. Just then he finds a cassette. On the other hand, Ji-yoom thinks this could be the work of Seoha's stepmother. So she goes to her and asks her, was it you behind Seoha's accident because the chairman offered me money to keep my mouth shut? This proves that he wants to protect you. Smiling at this, she says, I have no link to this accident. Ji-yoom thinks, then who could it be? Just then we see Seoha, who listens to the cassette. In it is a recording of Ho-sik and the man who gave the order to kill Seoha, listening to which Seoha understands that it is his uncle. Knowing this, Seoha is very hurt, because since childhood he loved Seoha a lot, but all this was a lie. There, we see Seoha's uncle with his stepmother. Ji-yoom sees them and understands that they did all this. Ji-yoom comes to Seoha, and seeing him so sad, she says to him, tears don't look good on your beautiful face. Seoha tells her to leave from there. So, because I don't want you to see me like this. I was supposed to die in that accident, but because of me, the people who were very beloved to me died. Therefore, I am not worthy of being happy. Seeing his condition, Ji-yoon says, I think I should tell you this. Then she plays the same music on the piano that Hyun used to play for Seoha. Seoha is shocked to hear it. He asks Ji-yoon, how do you know this music? So she says, I was the one who composed this music. And then says, Hyun told you to play it when you miss someone, didn't she? Seoha says, how do you know? So Ji-yoon says, because I am Hyun. Seoha, who doesn't believe Ji-yoon's words, says to her, I know you're saying all this to comfort me. You don't need to do this, and starts to leave. So Ji-yoon says, remember that book, which was Hyun's favorite? Hearing this, Seoha stops. Ji-yoon says, the key to that jewelry box is in that book. Then giving him a letter, she says, when you open that box, read this, you will understand everything. Then Ji-yoon goes and tells Cho-won that she has told Seoha everything. Cho-won says, but this was a secret. So Ji-yoon says, yes, but I had to tell him. Cho-won asks, how does it feel to remember about past lives? So Ji-yoon says, it took me time to understand all this. I have to live like this. Sometimes I couldn't meet a loved one from my past life, but in this life, my sister has lightened my heart. Cho-won says, I am very happy that you have returned. In the next scene, Seoha takes the jewelry box and goes to his family house. He takes out that book in the library, and in it he finds the key. He is about to open the box with that key when his uncle comes there. So Seoha hides the box behind the books. His uncle talks to him, but Seoha leaves from there without talking to him. In the next scene, Ji-yoon is waiting for Seoha at the amusement park. Just then, a flashback is shown when it was Seoha's birthday. So Seoha had said to her, will you go to the amusement park on my birthday? Then Ji-yoon is remembering her past memories there. Seoha does not come, and due to the park closing, Ja-yoon goes home. The next day, Seoha again goes to the family house and goes to the library and opens that box. In it, he finds a book, which Hyun had written. In it, she had written about all her lives. At the end of the book, it was written, if something happens to me in this life, I will definitely come back to you. Then he reads the note given by Ji-yoon, in which it was written. The main character of that story was Hyun, who is now Ji-yoon. If you have started to believe, then come and meet me at the place where we didn't go that day, when you got the jewelry box. As soon as he reads this note, Seoha starts to go to Ji-yoon. There, Ji-yoon is also waiting for him in the park. Then Seoha comes there, and Ji-yoon smiles seeing him. Seoha remembers all the moments spent with her. Then he says to her, if I hadn't read that note, what would you have done? So Ji-yoon says, I would still wait for you until you came. I would wait for you right here. Seoha says, is that you, Hyun? Hearing his words, Ji-yoon touches his face and says, I missed you so much. Then Seoha says sorry to her. Your life was lost because of me. But Ji-yoon comforts him by hugging him. On the other hand, we see Hana and Min-gi together. Hana says, it seems Ji-yoon and Seoha's love is very deep. Min-gi says, but the problem will be for Seoha. Hana says, we will have to tell them everything. Min-gi says, whatever we can do, we will surely do. Then we see Seoha and Ji-yoon. Ji-yoon says, once you told me, if Hyun came back, you would not want to see her. So Seoha says, I was very scared. She took her last breaths in front of me. Ji-yoon holds his face and says, everything is fine. I was in your yesterday, I am in your today, and I will be in your future too. Then they both kiss. In the next scene, Ji-yoon gets a call from Hana. Then Ji-yoon goes to meet Seoha's stepmother and says to her, you must be having fun with my husband, right? And you also have your eyes on the hotel. But stay away from my son. Hearing her words, Seoha's stepmother gets nervous. Ji-yoon says, Seoha's mom has said that you should apologize to her, otherwise her soul will keep scaring you like this. We see Hana sitting some distance away. When Ji-yoon leaves from there, Hana comes to her. So Ji-yoon says, did you get relief from this? So Hana says, yes, Seoha will take care of the rest himself. And then putting her hand on Ji-yoon's head, she says, I trust you. When the time comes, you will make the right decision. Then Min-gi sends Ji-yoon that picture, which Ji-yoon sees in dreams and the past. So she searches about them on the net. Then we see Seoha in his family house, where he asks his uncle, why did you do this? So his uncle says, you won't believe it, but I didn't try to kill you, it was just a mistake. I didn't know you would be in that car. Seoha says, so you tried to kill my dad? The uncle says, I was very jealous and I hated Do-yoon's dad because he was close to your dad, and I also started hating your dad because after your mom left, he only cared about the company. Hearing his words, Seoha says, you should accept your crime yourself. Then Seoha's uncle accepts in the media that he was the one who caused that accident. In the next scene, Ji-yoon calls Seoha and says, I am waiting for you. When you come, I will hug you and say loudly, good job, Seoha. But on the other side, Seoha's voice is not heard. so Ji-yoon cuts the call. She thinks, it seems he is a bit sad. I will have to fix his mood. Now Seoha is standing behind, listening to her words. He says, how will you do this? By holding my hand, are you going to run away again? Ji-yoon shows him by dancing and says, no, I will show you by dancing. Then she tells him, you also have a past life. Seoha doesn't believe it. So Ji-yoon says, I am going somewhere. Will you also go with me? Then Ji-yoon takes Seoha to the same bridge that she had seen in her first life. Seoha says, so you have brought me to a place from 1,000 years ago, where you saw me, and what did you see here? So Ji-yoon says, then there were fireworks here, and a man was coming towards me. Seoha says, and who was that man? Ji-yoon says, are you jealous of the man from 1,000 years ago? So Seoha says, it's not like that. Now on the bridge, Seoha is coming towards Ji-yoon. Just then, Ji-yoon sees a flashback in which a boy is coming towards her. As he comes near her, Ji-yoon stabs him with a knife, and that boy is Seoha. And after stabbing Seoha, Ji-yoon gets hit by an arrow from behind. And as soon as the arrow hits, Ji-yoon falls on top of Seoha. Now in the present, Ji-yoon, feeling the pain of that birth, is about to fall. Just then, Seoha catches her. Then we see a scene from a little earlier when Seoha and Ji-yoon come to the bridge. So Seoha proposes to Ji-yoon. So Ji-yoon says yes to him. Then Seoha puts a necklace on her. Then Seoha starts clicking photos of the bridge, and while doing so, he goes a little further. When he is coming towards Ji-yoon, he remembers the scene of his first life. Remembering all this, she starts to fall. So Seoha comes and catches her. Seoha asks her, are you okay? So she says, yes, I am fine. Then they go to a guest house to stay for the night. Seoha, after showing Ji-yoon her room, starts to leave. So Ji-yoon says, where are you going? So Seoha says, to my room. So Ji-yoon says, why did you take 2 rooms? So Seoha says, I thought we are 2 people, so we would need 2 rooms. Hearing this, Ji-yoon says, in love, there is no 2. There is only 1. Even in childhood, we used to sleep in 1 room. So now 2. We will refresh that memory and sleep together. Seeing Ji-yoon with her arms spread, Seoha comes close to her. She thinks Seoha is about to kiss her, but he says in Ji-yoon's ear, I will talk to you after taking a bath. After this, they both sit together and drink. So Seoha apologizes to her that Hyun should have been given justice at that time, but Ji-yoon says, it is enough that you brought the truth in front of everyone. Then they both kiss. After this, we see at night, Ji-yoon gets scared in a dream. So she goes to Seoha and asks, the man I saw in the dream, was that you? Seoha is sleeping. She touches his face, and Seoha's eyes open. So he makes Ji-yoon lie down with him and kisses her. After this, they both talk to each other and fall asleep there. Then the next day, they both wander around and enjoy a lot. They both are coming back. When Ji-yoon gets a call from Min-gi, he asks her to come to the hospital. Then Ji-yoon comes to the hospital, and seeing her aunt's condition, she gets worried. After some time, her aunt regains consciousness, and seeing Ji-yoon worried, she says, I am perfectly fine. In the next scene, Min-gi is with Hana. He says to her, when you have seen your past life, there is no benefit in remembering it. Now you should live in the present. And then he gives her something and says, I will tell you everything about what to do next. Then we see Seoha in his house. He finds a box. Then the next day, Seoha takes that same box and goes to the office and meets his stepmother. She asks him, what is all this? So Seoha says, this is all a record of your corruption. So she says, I have given my time and effort to this company. This is my company. Seoha says, it has become clear how much effort you have put in. I have also taken out your bank record. Now we will meet in court. He comes out, and Do-yoon asks him, where did you get all this? So Seoha says, a box came in which it was written, this is a gift for you. I thought you might have sent it. Then we see Hana. This box was sent to Seoha by her. After this, the chairman also removes his wife from the company and his life. In the next scene, Seoha takes a bouquet from a shop when Hana comes to him and hugs him. He is shocked and asks, who are you? So Hana says, Seoha, take care of yourself, and gives him a turtle. Seoha takes that turtle, but he doesn't understand who this girl is. In the next scene, Min-gi says to Ja-yoon, the solution to your problem is in your first birth, so you have to remember that. In the next scene, Ji-yoon touches those magic bells to remember her past. This time Do-yoon is also visible to her. Someone is calling him by the name Zhu, and that is Cho-won, whose name in that life is Soul. In the present, Seoha comes with flowers to meet Ji-yoon, and he sees Min-gi. He asks him about Ji-yoon. Then he goes to Ji-yoon's room, where Ji-yoon is watching the scene of her first life, that she is running away with Soul. Just then, a boy with a sword is after her, who was Seoha. Seoha kills Soul with his sword. Now Ji-yoon, scared, starts crying in her present life. Now Seoha says to her, are you okay? Ji-yoon, crying, says to Seoha, I will kill you, and then grabs Seoha's throat. In the next scene, we are shown Ji-yoon's first life, in which she is dyeing clothes. Just then, Min-gi and Do-yoon come to her. Min-gi asks her about the dyed clothes, that a ribbon for the magic bells will be made from this, so there should be no mistake in it. Ja-yoon says, I promise, all the work will be completed on time. Then Sol comes from the front. She comes to Da-yoon, and just then, blood starts coming from her mouth. Then a physician, giving some medicine to Ji-yoon, says, Sol's condition is very bad. This is the last treatment I have. After a few days, that physician comes to Ji-yoon and tells her that there are some herbs in the palace, which are only given to royal people. I will tell you their names, but it is difficult to obtain them. Ji-yoon says, don't you worry about the money. So the physician says, there is a shortage of food there due to lack of rain. So those people are collecting sacred things for the rain, whoever gives them those things. They will give those herbs to them. You can get those herbs by giving the magic bells, but this can be dangerous. Then Ji-yoon takes those dyed clothes and goes to the temple, where Seoha, Do-yoon, and Min-gi are. She gives them the clothes. Then Min-gi performs a prayer. Then Ji-yoon hides there. When Min-gi leaves from there, she steals the magic bells from there and runs away. After this, she's going to the palace with Sol. Sol doesn't know anything, then everyone comes after them. Seoha tells Ji-yoon to give the bells, so Ji-yoon says, forgive me, but my sister's life is in danger. I can save my sister by giving these bells. Let me go. But they don't listen. And Sol, that is Cho-won, is killed. In the present, Ji-yoon thinks that her sister was killed by Seoha because the sword was in Seoha's hand. So she grabs Seoha's throat. Seoha says, Ji-yoon, come to your senses. I am Seoha. So Ji-yoon comes to her senses and tells him, I just saw my first birth. In it, you killed my sister. Then as she realizes that she tried to kill Seoha, she starts apologizing to Seoha. So Seoha starts comforting her that everything is fine. In the next scene, Seoha is with his dad. He says to him, you could have hidden this matter so it was not necessary to bring it out? So Seoha says, the matter was not that simple. In that accident, Do-yoon's dad and Hyun died. Then we are shown a flashback in which Seoha had knelt down and said, sorry to Hyun's mom that Hyun died because of me. But her mom had forgiven him and told him that your dad also apologized to me. Now in the present, his dad says, I hid all this so that you wouldn't get hurt. Seoha says, I know your intentions were good, but for whatever happened, we are both in pain until now. Then we see that the chairman was told by his wife that Seoha's accident was caused by her brother. He then asks his brother, so he apologizes to him. Then the chairman tells him to hide this matter from Seoha. In the next scene, we see Ji-yoon touches those magic bells again. Seoha is also with her. She says to him, you should go from here. What if I try to kill you again? So Seoha says, I will save myself. Then she sees the past scene. She was on the same bridge where Min-gi comes with his companions. They are taking the magic bells for a prayer. Ji-yoon starts to attack him, but Seoha comes in front of Min-gi, and that knife hits him. Then we are shown the same scene in which Ji-yoon is requesting Min-gi to take the bells and go. Seoha says, they will kill you, so give the bells to me. Just then, Min-gi kills Cho-won with his sword. So the real murderer was Min-gi, not Seoha. After this, Min-gi starts to kill Ju-yoon too, but Seoha stops him and says, it's time for the prayer, we have to go quickly. Seoha takes the sword from Min-gi. Now the bridge scene is shown, where Min-gi's companions shoot an arrow at Da-yoon from behind, which causes her to fall on top of Seoha. She picks up those bells and says, I will never forget this day, and I will have my revenge. Seeing all this, Ji-yoon says, it was me. I was the one who cursed myself to remember past lives. She starts to cry, so Seoha hugs her. Then Ji-yoon kisses Seoha, then says to him, you have always taken care of me, and thanks him. Then Ji-yoon goes to meet Min-gi and says to him, you killed my sister. Min-gi, hearing her words, says, you remember everything. I knew you would come to me for revenge. Ji-yoon says, no, I will not take revenge on you. What's past is past. Min-gi says to her, I am filled with so much regret thinking that innocent people lost their lives because of me, and we were trapped by your curse. She says, I care about today now. So Min-gi says, you still have a chance. You can erase these memories. Ji-yoon asks, what will I have to do for that? Min-gi says, before I tell you, you should know one thing, that along with forgetting the past life, you will also forget the people connected to that life. I have already done this with Hana. She has forgotten everything. Then we see Seoha with his uncle. He says to him, when my mom died, you should have hugged my dad and cried, not me. If you had done that, you would not have made the decision to cause my accident. His uncle apologizes to him. In In the next scene, Ji-woom is very sad, remembering the time spent with her loved ones. She thinks, I don't want to forget them. Just then, Seoha comes and holds her hand and starts taking her somewhere. He takes her to a basketball court, where they both play and then they both sit and talk. Seoha says to her, Mingi has told me that as soon as you become normal, you will forget everything. But what do you think? Will I forget you? The way you found me, I will find you. So Ji-yoom says, what if I don't recognize you? So Seoha says, you won't give attention to a handsome boy like me? The Ji-yoom, I know loves handsome boys a lot. So Ji-yoom smiles. Then they both kiss. Seoha has brought matching rings. Then they put those rings on each other. After this, Ji-yoom meets Cho-won. She has brought matching jewelry for her, wearing which they both are very happy. Then she goes to Cho-won's house for dinner and meets her mom, that is, her own mom. Then she takes her to Hyun's room, where she's looking at old pictures. Just then her mom comes there, so Ji-yoom asks her, why have you kept this room like this until now? So her mom says, my daughter had said that she will definitely come to meet me. So I have kept her room the same way so that when she comes back, she doesn't feel sad. Ji-yoom says, can I hug you? So her mom says, yes, and then they both hug. After this, Ji-yoom takes those magic bells and goes to the bridge. She meets Ju in her imagination. She asks her, how are you now? So Ji-yoom says, I am very happy. After this, Ji-yoom forgets about everyone. Then we see Ji-yoom, who has returned to her normal life. In the next scene, Ji-yoom has come to her aunt's restaurant. She asks the waiter for a tissue, and Seoha, sitting behind her, gives her a tissue. So Ji-yoom thanks him. Then Seoha fixes a strand of hair on her face, and Ji-yoom looks at him shockingly. Then we see Ji-yoom in the hotel. Seoha comes in front of her. So Ji-yoom says to him, I saw you in the restaurant yesterday too, right? So Seoha says, let me introduce myself to you. I am the president of this company, Seoha. So Ji-yoom says, I work here as an engineer. Seoha says, I was the one who gave you the job here. Ji-yoom asks, have we ever met before? So he says, maybe. Then she says to him, I am not interested in marketing. So Seoha says, if there is a problem in making a decision, shall we go on a date? Ji-yoom is shocked and says, how can you ask someone to go on a date on the first meeting? Then seeing the same rings on each other's hands, Ji-yoom is surprised. Seoha says, I will now propose to you 3 times. If you refuse, I will not come in your way. Then he says, will you be my girlfriend? Ji-yoom says, this is your first attempt. So Seoha says, yes, this is my first attempt in this life. Then they both look at each other and smile. And this is where the drama ends.